So the idea is to form this, these groups of 3 to 4 people. So we sort of naturally have now our groups already. And actually we created these Google Docs folders. So what we're going to be doing is for the next 3 days we'll be working on a document or a presentation together as a group, and eventually coming out of the whole exercise with this one-pager proposal, NSF style proposal. So that's sort of the idea. And I don't know whether you have a computer, have access to the internet right now, but if one of you actually have a laptop or something like that, let's try to see if you can get to the Google Docs link.
Yeah, so if you go to this particular link, you'll see 10 folders with numbers 1 through 10. So it'll be group 1, group 2, etc. So we're going to make you guys group 1. You guys will be group 2. You guys will be group 3. And we're going to make you guys group 10. Yeah, be group 10. You got the power group. Okay, so you guys will be group 10. That way, if we get other groups in the middle, we'll populate that. So essentially, you have access to everybody's folder, so it's kind of, we're going to ask everybody kind of obviously stay in their group, but let's make sure you can get access to your folder first. While you're doing that, as JR mentioned, the idea is that, and Stephanie is going to get us a copy of the format of what this end result is going to look like, so that you have an idea of this end goal. And so this folder is really kind of up to you on if you want to create one document in there or 3 documents, but it's really to serve as a placeholder to document your conversations for the next 3 days. Okay? That makes sense.
And then we'll spend just a little bit of time in terms of deciding roles of each person in the team. So we have 4 different roles we have identified. So one person will be an interviewer, another one interviewee, and spokesperson, and then scribe. So we're sort of modeling this after design thinking kind of idea. So that's why we have these different roles, and by having these different roles, we're trying to encourage you to brainstorm more effectively. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing this, and then we'll take turns in terms of which role you play each day. So today, for example, you will be an interviewer, tomorrow you will be an interviewee, and so on. So as we said already, I mean, the outcome, the expected outcome is this one-page proposal modeled after an NSF project summary. And as you know, in a typical NSF project summary, you have these 2 core elements, broader impact and also intellectual merit. So when you develop your own one-page proposal, we want you to have those 2 sections. So broader impact and intellectual merit, so that has to be there. And so in terms of what you're expected to be doing on the first day, the overarching theme, I mean, because this is very closely related to the theme of our workshop in general, is really how to incorporate these 3D virtual learning environments into digital learning aids, such as those things we're covering on each day of the workshop. So for example, today we covered digital storytelling. So how do we somehow augment digital storytelling using 3D virtual environment? That could be one of the overarching themes. And then under the theme, you basically identify your own more specific version of problems. Would you like to add anything?
Sure. So the idea is that we want you to hone in on one problem to solve, right? This isn't, the goal is not to solve all problems, right, associated with this topic, but we want you to hone in on one. So this next half an hour, the idea is that you're going to come up with one problem statement that you're going to focus on. And then at 4, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but then at 4 o'clock, you're going to present that idea. Each team is going to be given 10 minutes to talk about that particular problem. And then what you're going to see is as we progress throughout the week, you're going to make a proposal to make a solution, and then eventually the end goal is this final proposal.
So the interviewer in this case will be sort of an investigator trying to figure out or trying to elicit what your problem is. So you just play that role of asking questions so that whoever is being interviewed can naturally do some very, I guess, extensive brainstorming to be able to answer those questions related to the eventual problem you will be identifying. So that's sort of the idea. And then the scribe, of course, is the person documenting the whole process. And then the person, another role is to be able to present your problem in the end. So that's sort of the idea. Do you have any questions about this? Yep.
When you say a problem, is this a problem with incorporating VLEs into digital learning aids, or a problem associated with our domain?
Right, so what we thought was we give you some sort of a context. So your job here is really to narrow that down because, for example, augmenting digital learning aids with 3D virtual learning environments, that's too broad. So we're trying to do this exercise of narrowing your problem down so that it is specific enough to be somehow distilled into this one-page proposal eventually. So, I mean, it has to be in that area of thinking, but I mean, when it comes to specific problem you're trying to solve, it has to be narrowed down much further. I mean, you can think of it as a paper writing exercise, right? So you start with a very broad question, but then you can only solve a specific problem within a reasonable amount of time. So that's sort of the idea.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
Yeah, the only thing that I would add, Stephanie and I were talking here last night, and we were talking about the kinds of proposals that she gets, right? And what she was sharing with me was, she said, you know, I'll read a proposal, and the first page, she'll say, I have no idea what their problem is. Like, I don't know what they're trying to solve. And so, what I'm just, you know, from a helping point that she shared with me was, make sure that you're concise in trying to explain the problem, and then how you're going to solve it, very concisely. Right? I say that? Okay.
So our problem that we talked about was trying to, we were talking around mostly ideas around earth science and trying to kind of dig in what's a unique problem we could talk about and solve. And we talked about a lot of different ideas, from erosion simulations to lava flow representation, and we ended up kind of circling back around several times to talking about climate change and rising sea levels, and using virtual reality specifically to create a, I guess, an emotional connection and a narrative around climate change and around rising sea levels, and be able to take students through kind of iconic places in the world, and also very remote places that are not iconic, that would and are being affected, small islands, small rural coastal villages, but also iconic large cities, and go and show them those locations as they are now, and then fast forward and show what they would look like if the sea levels rise as expected. And be able to kind of, and then have some narration and talk through that. So I think, you know, certainly there's a lot more digging into to do around there, but I guess our problem is to try to figure out a way to create an emotional connection to a topic that is often bogged down in infographics and spreadsheets and overly emotional pleas that don't seem to break through to create meaningful change anywhere. Yeah, that's where we're at.
So in terms of, I guess, broader impacts and
Right.
intellectual merit, have you thought about that a little bit?
I don't know if we got that far.
Okay.
We'll get there though,
Yeah.
I promise.
For the kind of problem we've been thinking about would be IST courses, Dr. Mo mentioned it. And, how can we include the virtual learning environments into IST courses, teaching and learning, to increase the interests of the students and aware the impact of a virtual learning environment. So the problems should be each individual IST course. And one sample we discussed simply was like a green data center, but we have a manual kind of samples to discuss. It will be continued.
So is it going to be some sort of a digital storytelling exercise in your case?
Okay. Answer that.
It could be a digital storytelling, but we will mainly focus on the problem.
Okay.
So, how can we implement the VLE, the technical courses? And that's where we can stop.
What the challenge is.
What the challenges are.
Okay, let's see. Our overall problem that we want to address is that museums don't have enough of their artwork or artifacts, items that were on display in the physical world digitized so that people who are not in the museum could view them and learn about them. And so our goal is, if we're writing a proposal, to digitize this content and then make it available or enhance the content in three ways. One would be for those people in the museum to be able to gather or be able to have access to additional content, like if you're looking at a painting, a QR code can lead you to a web page that has historical facts about the painting, descriptions of why the painting is important, Wikipedia pages about the artist, and so forth. You can even add in AR content for those who are at the museum. For students taking a art history class, there could be information. You could take that digital content then and package it in a website or even an online course itself that leads students through all the important information about that content. And then for the general public, you could have websites with the same information for people that are just generally interested but can't go to that particular museum.
So my understanding is, there are, I guess, existing museums, for example, in the 3D virtual worlds. So what makes your idea, I guess, stand out in relation to those types of things that are already available?
I think, well, we would be looking at content that is obviously not available in the virtual world.
So the content is the...
Right, if the Smithsonian Natural History Museum has already done that, good, we'd be looking for other museums, maybe even in other countries, to preserve and make more widely available.
Okay, for our group, we jumped into the Google Doc, so we've already got a lot written there, and we've kind of been writing alongside each other. And our first question was whether this activity would be for something that just needed to explore feasibility, or whether it was for institutionalizing innovation. So we skipped the exploration of the feasibility and we went straight for going for institutionalization. So our one problem to solve so far, and I rewrote it just a little bit, providing access to effective use of new technologies is challenging and therefore it is essential to develop a rollout plan for 3D VLEs around the institution with training, support opportunities encountered that involve evidence-based practice. So really kind of getting the evidence for what's working in the institution, knowing why, for whom, when, curricular, and so on. And we came up with a whole host of problems that we could solve, that we could target, but these would be aligned with the institution's strategic plan, and we would make certain that our efforts had to address improving success, retention, especially for people of minorities and people with disabilities. So part of our plan so far is to explore the literature, get benchmarking models, what's working, and then creating strategies to involve faculty to improve buy-in, supporting learners, capturing the analytics for the impact. And I'm not really certain exactly what flavor a pilot to roll out would be, but I would imagine would be whomever had the greatest readiness on the campus for a department-wide implementation that could then become a model for the rest of the institution. Do you all want to add anything to that?
I think that about covered it for us.
We also mentioned we think about discipline-specific aspects of 3D. I think you did a wonderful job.
Oh, great stuff.
So we actually had the wrong idea starting this assignment off. We didn't get specific enough, but as we were hearing you guys, we kind of came up with something on the spot. And we were kind of thinking of digitalizing the whole training of a factory worker, basically. So it could save money in like paying the people to train the guys and like the time that it takes. They could just keep like going through the visualization of like a 3D video or something. We could have like maybe like each station like placed around the camera and like have like a speaker like go around and say, all right, like see this worker right here, look what he's doing, and then like it's like so you can keep the student engaged or the worker engaged like as he's following the guy walking around to each like station on like what they're doing. And I mean that's kind of what we came up with. I guess like some of the problems that we could run into in that is keeping the student engaged the whole time. So like try to not have many distractions behind the speaker, and like someone said earlier, have like the transitions instead of just saying look to your left, like have someone walking to your left or something to draw the attention, I guess. And yeah, do you have anything to add, anybody?
Maybe one thing. Yeah. Also for like learning new equipment, it can break down pretty often in the workplace. So maybe have it so that you have a repair manual that teaches you how to repair the mechanical devices through the 3D virtual environment. Something along that line.